Disposition codes are used to identify and categorize the outcome of a customer interaction. In this section, we'll first create some individual disposition codes, and then we'll jump over and create a disposition list which contains these newly created codes. Let's jump over and get started. The first thing we're going to do is find our dispositions by going to Flows and then drop down to Dispositions. Now in our list here, I'm going to go ahead and scroll over to the right and click Create, Sales Made. Now I actually probably already have this one in my list, so I'm going to just put a 1 at the beginning of this one. You can add an external ID. This would just help you identify if this were to match up in a third-party system. You could also add a description if you'd like to add some extra information about this. And shared would be if you'd want to make this available to other subtenants under this one. We're going to just leave all these default, and we'll just leave the Sales Made 1 as the name. And we're going to create a couple other dispositions. Let's go ahead and click Create again. General Sales Questions. Now let's create a couple more because I'm going to have a second group. The second list will contain some non-sales items in case a call does come into my sales team, but I want to track some other reasons. Some common ones that, let's say our customer is getting, maybe they're looking for an account balance. These may be related to customer service functions, but somehow customers keep routing into sales by selecting the wrong queue. So I do want to track these. Let's just create a few other miscellaneous items, maybe a password reset. I may already have that one, so I'm just going to append a 1 onto my list here. All right, that's good enough for my individual dispositions. Now let's go over and create a list where we can apply these individual dispositions to. I'm going to go up to Flows and then click on Disposition Lists. And then to create a new list, I'm going to come up and click on Create in the upper right-hand corner. Now, if you're following along on the admin site, we created this first one, Sales Dispositions. So I'm going to call it the same thing, but I'm going to have to add a letter at the end. So I have a different list. Again, an external ID. This is just if you'd like to match or mirror this to a third-party system. And then a general description if you'd like to add some more information about that. Your shared access if you do want to share this to any child tenants underneath the current tenant that you have. And now we're going to create the dispositions. This first one allows you to create a category for your list. So let's just call this category Sales. And now when I click the plus button, this will allow me to select an individual disposition from that full list that I had. And that one that I created was called Sales Made. I'm going to click on the right-hand side just to make an indentation so that this Sales Made falls under my category. Let's add a second disposition to that list. We had a General Questions. Let's see. Again, we'll indent that to the right. And the last one was, I believe it was Successful Upsale. Oh, which one did I create? We'll just select this one here. Indent to the right. Very good. I now have my 3 options underneath the sales category. Let's create another heading in here. Let's just call this Miscellaneous. Let's add an individual disposition under Miscellaneous. I believe we created an account balance. Customer calls in asking for a balance. And this last one, let's just do our password reset. Typically not a sales function, but if a caller comes in, maybe they selected the wrong queue or they just keep hitting option 1 for my sales teams, I do want to track how many times are they getting asked to do some of these extra functions. So we're able to track some other options in there. All right, I am now done with my list. Let's click Submit down at the bottom. Awesome, record's been updated. We've now created our very first disposition list. In this section, we learned how to create disposition lists. These lists are a collection of individual disposition codes and are assigned to interactions, allowing us to categorize and be able to report on the reasons as to why our customers are calling in. Once you're done here, go ahead and jump over to the next section to continue with the series.